Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online, the show that dives deep into the most amazing stories our world has to offer. Today, we're traveling high into the Andes Mountains of Bolivia, to a place where the air is thin, the wind sweeps across vast plains, and the ghosts of a powerful, ancient civilization still linger. We're talking about the Tiwanaku, a society that rose and fell centuries before the famous Inca Empire even began. They left behind monumental pyramids and stone gateways, but much of their world remains shrouded in mystery. What were their beliefs? How did their society function? And why did they suddenly vanish? For a millennium, these secrets have been guarded by the mountains. But now, thanks to cutting-edge technology and a bit of archaeological detective work, a stunning discovery is pulling back the curtain on this enigmatic culture. Get ready, because we're about to explore a lost temple that's rewriting the history of South America. For archaeologists, the Tiwanaku are one of the great puzzles of the ancient world. Flourishing between 500 and 1000 CE, they built a sprawling state centered around the legendary Lake Titicaca. Their capital was a wonder of stone architecture. But then, around the year 1000, their civilization collapsed, leaving behind ruins that would later mystify the Inca. In a massive breakthrough, a team from Penn State University and Bolivian researchers have found something incredible, not in the famous capital, but 130 miles to the south, on a hilltop near a town called Caracolo. This wasn't some minor shrine. They've unearthed a massive, previously unknown temple complex, and they've named it Palaspata. What's amazing is that this huge structure was essentially hidden in plain sight. Local indigenous communities knew about the hill, of course, but it had never been properly examined by scholars. The discovery, published in the journal Antiquity, is being called a monumental step forward. As lead author Dr. Jose Capriles from Penn State said, "This find is crucial because so much about the Tiwanaku, their social structure, their influence, and their collapse, is still up for debate." So how do you find a 1,000-year-old temple that's been eroded by time? You look from the sky. The team didn't just stumble upon Palaspata. Its discovery is a perfect example of how technology is revolutionizing archaeology. The faint outlines of the temple's walls were barely visible on the ground. So the researchers used a combination of drone-based photogrammetry that's taking thousands of high-resolution photos from a drone and blended satellite imagery. By feeding all this data into a computer, they could meticulously map the subtle bumps and ridges on the landscape. This high-tech approach allowed them to create a detailed 3D model of the hilltop, digitally stripping away the centuries of dirt and erosion, and the result was breathtaking. The digital reconstruction revealed a massive complex, roughly the size of a city block, measuring about 410 by 475 feet. The layout is classic Tiwanaku, a series of 15 rectangular enclosures arranged methodically around a central, sunken courtyard. This wasn't a simple building. It was a huge, modular complex that would have required an immense investment of labor and resources, a clear statement of the Tiwanaku state's power. One of the biggest questions is, why build such a major temple here, so far from the capital city by Lake Titicaca? The answer lies in location, location, location. The Tiwanaku state was vast, and Palaspata was built at a critical crossroads, a nexus point connecting three completely different and vital ecosystems. To the north, you have the fertile highlands around Lake Titicaca, the heartland of the civilization. To the west, the arid Altiplano, perfect for herding llamas, which were the backbone of the Andean economy. And to the east, the lush, agriculturally rich valleys of Cochabamba. Palaspata's position was incredibly strategic. Researchers believe it was much more than just a religious site. It was a gateway, a place where the political and economic power of the Tiwanaku state was made real and visible. It was a hub for trade, a place where goods like llama wool from the west and maize from the east could be exchanged. It connected different cultures and even different foods. As Dr. Capriles explains it, in the ancient Andes, everything was connected to the divine. He said most economic and political transactions had to be mediated through divinity, because that would be a common language that would facilitate various individuals cooperating. Palaspata was that common language, written in stone. And what about the religion itself? The design of Palaspata gives us some incredible clues. The entire layout appears to be aligned with the solar equinox. This suggests the temple was a celestial clock, used for massive ceremonies tied to astronomical events, which in turn would have governed the agricultural calendar. Planting and harvesting were likely kicked off by rituals held right here. This shows just how advanced the Tiwanaku's understanding of astronomy was. When the archaeologists began excavating the surface, they found more direct evidence of these ceremonies. They unearthed numerous fragments of distinctive ceremonial cups called keru. These weren't everyday drinking vessels. Keru cups were used for drinking chicha, a type of maize beer, during huge feasts and religious celebrations. The sheer number of fragments suggests Palaspata was a vibrant center for these communal gatherings, a place where people from all over the Tiwanaku sphere would come together. And the maize used to brew that chicha tells its own story. Maize couldn't be grown in the high altitudes of Palaspata. It had to be imported from the low-lying valleys of Cochabamba. This is hard evidence of the temple's role as a long-distance trade hub, bringing people, goods, and traditions together under the watch of the gods. As incredible as the discovery of Palaspata is, it's not the only lost Tiwanaku temple to re-emerge in recent decades. For a long time, local legends spoke of a submerged city in the deep sacred waters of Lake Titicaca, the very place the Inca believed their sun god was born. For years, these were just stories. But in the year 2000, the legends were proven true. An international team of archaeologists discovered a massive temple structure submerged beneath the lake's surface. Estimated to be between 1,000 and 1,500 years old, it predates the Inca and is now believed to have been built by the Tiwanaku. And this thing is colossal. The main temple alone measures 656 feet long by 164 feet wide. That's 2 football fields long. Divers also found a long road, agricultural terraces, and a wall stretching for half a mile, all part of a once thriving lakeside settlement that was swallowed by the water. They've recovered over 10,000 artifacts from the depths: gold pieces, intricate ceramics, stone carvings, and even human and animal remains, likely from sacrifices. Since 2012, further underwater work has uncovered 25 new submerged sites, cataloging another 20,000 objects. These finds prove just how sacred Lake Titicaca was, first to the Tiwanaku and later to the Inca, who continued to make offerings to the powerful spirits they believed lived in the lake. So what does all this mean? The discovery of Palaspata on a remote hilltop and the ongoing exploration of the sunken ruins in Lake Titicaca show us that we are just beginning to scratch the surface of the Tiwanaku world. Archaeologists estimate that less than 10% of all Tiwanaku ruins have been properly excavated. Imagine what else is out there, waiting to be found. The Bolivian government is rightly recognizing the immense cultural value of these sites. There's even an ambitious plan to build an underwater museum at Lake Titicaca, allowing visitors to see these incredible submerged relics in their original setting while ensuring they're preserved for the future. For Palaspata, the work is just beginning. Scientists will now work to determine the temple's precise age and figure out its exact relationship to the capital and other ceremonial centers. The rediscovery of Palaspata isn't just about finding lost stones. It's about recovering a lost story, a narrative of a complex and powerful society that mastered one of the world's harshest environments. It's a story of faith, of trade, of power, and of human ingenuity, written high in the mountains and deep beneath the waters of Bolivia. Thanks for joining us on G Fun Facts Online. Be sure to tune in next time as we uncover another incredible story from our amazing world.